A standoff is unfolding at the site of the Dakota Access Pipeline, with protesters defying government orders to leave.
Let's take a look at these pictures from a short while ago. This is when the demonstrators began burning the makeshift wooden structures that they'd actually been living in. Authorities say those fires are continuing, and at least 2 people have been hospitalized. Omar Villafranca is at the protest site, and he joins us now by phone. Omar, what can you tell us?
We're here at the protest site, and there are a lot of law enforcement vehicles that have lined up, but they have not gone inside. There was a little bit of an informal meeting with some of the law enforcement officers, and they were telling us that the 2 o'clock deadline passed. There were some people who were still trying to gather up their things inside of the camp and leave, so they're giving them more time before they're going in. So there's probably at least 3 dozen vehicles that we've been able to see that are standing there waiting to go in, and some people who are still trying to get out. Interesting to note, the governor told us that they have actually arranged for some buses to be out here. If there are people out here who do not have a ride, who do not have a way to get out of here, then they are arranging them for some transportation. He even went as far and told us that they're willing to get them a bus ticket somewhere to get them out of this area. They do plan on enforcing this eviction notice sometime today, but as of right now, it's very fluid. That deadline has been pushed back. Of note, though, we want to mention that right before the deadline, the 2 o'clock deadline passed, about 100 people came out. They started praying, and they marched away from the site. They left. So this camp that had maybe 200 to 300 people in it, we saw about 100, maybe 125 leave. So we're not sure how many are left inside.
And we want to go ahead and kind of break down for people. I mean, this is a situation that has been going on for months in North Dakota there with the construction of that more than 1,100 mile pipeline. And there were at one time thousands of protesters. We know that it's dwindled down. And in some of your reporting earlier, Omar, the small group, some of them were thinking about leaving and maybe just crossing the river and setting up camp there.
There are actually, this camp is called, the main camp that everybody has come to know for this protest, is called the Oceti-Sakowin camp. Well, there's 2 other camps that are on the other side of the Cannonball River, and also one that's near one of the reservations. Those are not on federal land that's owned by the Army Corps of Engineers. So they have to basically get out of this main Oceti-Sakowin camp and leave. Some protesters have told us that, and they marched away, they plan on leaving this land here so they can avoid getting arrested, and they're going to stay nearby. They're going to regroup and see what their next plan of action is. What that is, we don't know, and from what we've gathered, they don't know what they're going to do yet. But they do have to leave this particular area because it is in a floodplain. This is something the Army Corps of Engineers, the governor, has said that the ultimate eviction notice is going to come from Mother Nature in about a month. And when the ice breaks and starts melting up on the Missouri River, they're expecting anywhere from maybe 5 to 15 feet of water in the floodplain right now where a lot of these structures are. So they're trying to get them out. They want to clean up, and so it doesn't become some sort of hazard with all this debris going downstream.
And Omar, obviously the evacuation order from the governor, but what about the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, which was the tribe behind the lawsuit? Have they issued any type of statement in wanting people to leave or encouraging them to stay?
They have. One of the tribal leaders, David Archambault, who we've actually talked with, and he's also talked to the governor as well. At this point, they're saying that they want to fight this in the courts. So he's asking all the protesters, and he's asking all of them to leave. And as he said before, that they will continue to fight this, but not there. They prefer to do it in the courts, but ultimately, and both sides have agreed on this, and people that we've talked to in government and also at the protest camp, Mother Nature is going to have the final say here. When Mother Nature is going to bring 15 feet of water up to that much or even more into the protest site, unless they're going to be protesting on a boat or some sort of floating raft, that area is going to be completely washed away because the seasonal melt period, when it starts, and it'll start here, when things get a little bit warmer, Mother Nature is going to have the final say.
Yeah, and it has been warmer. It's a definite concern when you've had that much snow. You can see snowflakes in the video even from today. So it's one of those areas of the country. It can switch very, very quickly. So they do need to get people out of there. Now, seeing some of these fires happen on the structures and dwellings, it seems odd probably to some people to say, well, wait a second, if you want to stay and protest, why are you burning these down? Is it somewhat of an act of defiance by the protesters, or what's happening?
And no, and that's what some people thought, and on social media people were putting anything out there. They were just coming to their own conclusions. I talked to several protesters who told me that when they're burning a structure, some of it was burning trash, and we saw that because we were walking on the site, but there was also planned burns. They're ceremonial burns. When they have set up a tent or a prayer area, some of these Native Americans, they don't want to just fold it up and throw it in the trash. So it's ceremonial burning. And somebody gave me the analogy the same way that you don't just take an American flag and throw it away. To a lot of Native Americans, once they've prayed at a place and set up a tent and had a prayer group there, they don't just turn around and throw it away. They have a ceremonial burning. So that was a lot of the black smoke that you saw coming from the area. It didn't seem to really alarm a lot of the law enforcement since they kind of knew what was going on. But for people who weren't really familiar, they didn't know what to think.
Interesting. Omar Villafranca, thank you so much for your reporting. We'll continue to check in with you as developments happen throughout the day.
All right, thank you.